On this Valentine's weekend, thinking of you, wanting to help you have more love in your life. And I am wearing my heart-shaped sterling silver earrings that I've had since I was in high school. I dipped them in silver polish today, and they look brand new, don't they? I am coming to you today to inspire you to think about how you're interacting in your life and in your relationships at work and at home. Lord knows you're getting a little bit restless with all of the, maybe here in North Carolina, we're having terrible weather. That's making me feel restless. And I am, I no longer call myself a control freak, but I am someone who likes to feel in control. Anyone out there? Anyone relate? I, and so I've done a lot of research on this. I've done a lot of research on what it's about, like why do I feel like I need to be in control, and what sorts of things do I feel that being in control will offer me. And I will tell you that I've learned some things. One thing is that when my internal judge, my internal voice, my perceptor of what's going on around me senses that something's wrong, whether it's wrong with me or something's wrong with someone else, or there's something wrong about the situation or circumstance, I start to feel that the only way to make things better is to control them myself. Anyone out there feel this way? The thing that's interesting is when we're always trying to be in control, what often happens is that we sort of connect through conflict. Not because we enjoy conflict, but because we encounter conflict when we're trying to control things to get the outcome that we want. And this leads to a state of high anxiety, like all the time, and impatience, because you're trying to control things that are not within your control, like maybe the pandemic or the weather or people around you or the productivity of those at work. And it makes you either feel stifled because you feel like you're out of control, or you can be sort of a in-your-face communicator. And the thing about when you're a controller is that you believe that controlling the outcome will make it better, will make it higher productivity, a better product. Everyone will be happier in the end, especially you, if you're in control. And this dynamic, though, what it ends up doing is it pushes people. And I don't know if you've noticed that, but it ends up creating conflict. And instead of having a flow or a give and take partnership, whether it's a romantic relationship or a relationship with a child or, again, a coworker or other environmental circumstance, it ends up being a pushing and a forcing. And what happens to that is, again, it promises you, oh, you'll have a better state of well-being. You'll feel better if you're in control. But these are lies, and I'm going to tell you why. I've been reading this book lately called The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek, and all of us fail to realize that we're in an infinite game when we're in a relationship that we hope to be a long-term one. And we focus on the short-term game. And I'm not saying that there's any criticism in any of this. I'm just offering that sometimes we think we want to control something finite and put it in a box, and we forget that this has consequences in the infinite game, the long term. And so the controller in you may make you feel like you need to be in control to have a life of well-being, but the side effect and impact of being a controller on your relationships in your life are not to be diminished, because this idea of pushing people in the direction that you want to go gives people only two choices. They can resist or not resist. If people around you don't resist and they let themselves be pushed around by you, maybe you will feel, great, I'm getting my way, this is good, everyone's going to have a good outcome now because I'm in charge. But ultimately, the people around you feel resentful because no one likes to be pushed or controlled. And the other option or outcome could be that if those around you do resist your push or your force, then that creates conflict too, and it costs everyone, you and the people around you, a lot of energy to resist your controlling. And people find controllers exhausting. And so you have to ask yourself, and I know you've all heard this, do you want to be right, or do you want to have good relationships with your partner or with your kids or with your coworkers or with the person in line in front of you at the grocery store? So I wanted to offer a couple other comments about the controller being sort of a drill sergeant. And what happens is it makes people around you not take the initiative to do things themselves because they know that you will do it eventually if you're in control. And this might seem then that you become the one who has even more burdens than everyone else. And I remember years ago, my mom said to me when I was a kid, while you were out today, I cleaned your room, but I did it for me. I didn't do it for you. And I remember thinking, okay, like now my room is clean and I didn't have to do anything, right? So it may have made my mom feel more at ease to not look at my messy room in the short term, but in the long term, it didn't teach me anything about keeping my room clean or responsibility or what it's takes to be in a relationship or in a family. And so again, you may gain control and have influence in the short term, but you lose influence in the long term. So this I'm going to control everything and then I'll feel better actually ends up backfiring in the long run. And so I just wanted to say, now you're saying to yourself, well, what do I do now? How do I let go of control? And what I want to offer you is that rather than pushing people into giving into your desires, what about considering pulling them, inviting them, welcoming them, having a warm, engaging dialogue about what it is that you're seeking and why, and inviting them rather than forcing them, so that you can be really patient and listen to the people around you and understand their needs and motivations, and maybe get a chance to even express and be certain about what your needs and motivations are for wanting to be in control, you're much more likely to get your desired outcome. So again, some helpful tips would be to start by asking those around you for what you want. And even a phrase that I love that's been transformative in my life has been, would you be willing? So I'll ask my kids, would you be willing to turn that down? Would you be willing to help unload the dishwasher? You can ask your coworkers, would you be willing to start the meeting a little bit later? That would you be willing is a technique used in nonviolent communication that has a very soothing invitation that's not accusatory, like come in here now, or I need you to get this done. But would you be willing puts the person in the position to say, yes, I'm willing, or no, I'm not willing. And being willing is a much more inviting way to engage with others because they're coming willfully and willingly to come to work with you and deal with this common thread of what we want to get done together and have a relationship. So be curious, tell those folks around you, take the time to persuade them about the direction that you want to take things and how that would help them get what they want, not just what you want. And if you're open, you may find that they come with new ideas and suggestions and are more enthusiastic in your presence and actually meet your desires, or maybe even settle on an even better outcome than was originally set out to do. So that's my love advice for you and your relationships, and even the relationship with yourself, because when you're beating yourself up because of something that you're trying to control, we know that being in that shaming, critical, judgmental voice, it doesn't help. It just raises our own cortisol levels and our own stress levels and makes us feel resentful against ourselves and bitter about choices that we're making for ourselves, and kind of that cycle of anger and betrayal of, I'm making myself do this I don't really want to, rather than engaging in a curious conversation, an open-minded, ended, non-judgmental conversation about how to get our needs met. So I am not seeing any questions, but let me know if you are watching this in the live or in the replay. And this was a pretty spontaneous thing I did today, but I just wanted to hop on and let you know I was thinking about you. And if you have questions or concerns about your own ways of managing conflict or how to get the things that you want in life, and you're finding that you're up against a wall or that the old ways aren't working and you're frustrated, let us know by putting in the comments, help, or how about interested? Interested. Place the word interested in the comments so that we can reach out to you and set up a strategy call